Mike Swift, there's something about the fact that you are exactly in life where you're supposed to be on the journey that you're supposed to be on, and everything happens for a reason. And it just, knowing that someone has a plan for you just makes every day a better day. You're happy no matter where you are, and you're just thankful that life has blessed you with another day.
I have a feeling that this is one of those stories where
Do you
something
hear how
bad
stupid
happened.
I sound saying that stuff?
Yeah,
No,
because I know you all
not at
too well.
all.
Hmm.
Welcome into What's on Your Mind. I'm Stephen Lewis. That's Mike Swift. A couple of bitchy old radio
Wait,
dudes. What?
you're serious? You were really being like, I'm so confused.
Do you really?
There's
Do you
there's no
really?
mishap
Do
in
you
your
really think?
story.
Do you really think words in those sequence would come out of my mouth with sincerity?
No, that's why I
Okay,
was
thank
waiting
you.
for something you did to tell me something bad happened and you deserved it. And I'm so
Nope,
confused.
not at all.
Yeah. As you mentioned, yeah, two old radio dudes that's got nothing better to do with their time, I guess. But thanks for listening to us.
Yeah. Um, I guess it's my turn to go first, isn't it?
I think it is.
I mean, let's
Here-
before we jump into what's on my mind because everything I have is heavy.
mm.
So, do did you have a nice weekend? Did you have a nice couple of days?
And in fact, I'm going to talk about that's going to be a part of what's on my mind. You know
Okay,
what?
then
I
I
do.
won't go there. Never mind.
I do want to acknowledge, though, we neglected to mention this last week during our podcast, and and stop me if this is a part of what's on your mind. But not only did we see a bunch of cuts across the radio industry, television got it too, and we saw some individuals lose their jobs, and we won't go into it in
Are we talking
particular
about?
maybe
Are we
right
talking
now.
about ESPN?
Yeah, ESPN, yep, and Ryan Clark losing his job on the
Um,
air. I'm not going to go into that in depth, but that I don't care what side of the coin you're
I
on.
will.
It sucks that to lose your job suddenly while working like that. And especially
Yeah.
if you didn't necessarily do anything in particular to get fired.
For those who don't know, Ryan Clark is a former Pittsburgh Steeler football player, defensive back that has been an analyst for ESPN for several years now. There were rumors he was going to be let go a while ago because he does have his
Hmm.
conflicts with people for sure. But
Hmm.
in this case, he was literally let go before he even
Before
finished
the
his
show
show was even
ended.
over
That's
and
horrible.
walked out of the building before the show was even over. He found out essentially in a commercial break on the air that he was losing his job. And I have a bunch of problems with this. They said they did it that way because they wanted to tell him before um he found
It
out.
got out on social media.
Yeah, but here's my thing. If you were going to let somebody go, you
Or
knew about it long before anybody who was going to be able to leak it on social
yes.
media knew about it. So you owe someone the respect to
I'm
handle
I
that the adult way.
I need to make a correction. It wasn't social media. The rumor was is he was getting inquiries about about him, his availability. It wasn't social media. It was inquiries about his availability because they had heard through the grapevine and whatnot. But yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
But you should have told him. I mean, when you let somebody go, I know.
You know.
I have had to let someone go, and I have carried it. I have carried the knowledge of having to do it around for damn near a month, and it eats at you, and it sucks. And unfortunately, it's a world where you do what you told her. It could be your job too. I don't care how many people say I'll put my livelihood on the line for you. That's kind of one of those things
Mm-hmm.
where don't hold that until it actually really comes into position.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
again, when someone tells you you have to do this and you start, or else we'll find somebody who will, you start doing the math in your head and go, I got a house payment, I got a car payment, I got,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but
The
it's,
math starts to math there.
I was told a month, I was told that I was not able to rehire someone. And I knew about it for over a month and it sucks. Like it's not fun. There's nothing cool about it. And I saw that Pat McAfee is catching a lot of heat for his over bloated salary and everything else. And, you know, I see what ESPN's doing. It's not just Pat McAfee. They're bringing back both Mike Golick and his son, which give or take his son is not necessarily my favorite, but both of them not coming back for cheap. Rich Eisen ain't doing that, isn't doing that radio show on ESPN for cheap. You've been overpaying Mike fucking Greenberg for about 20 years. And still
it
haven't
isn't.
figured out that he's the Mike that nobody really liked.
And it's sad, and that's my favorite. And sadly, that's my favorite one. I actually enjoy Greenberg as dry as he is. I think, I think Greenberg's got more, more. I don't know. He's got more life in his show than Eisenberg, if you ask me. I just, I think Eisenberg's just been around way too long and drinks his own
The
Kool-Aid to
difference
the point where
the difference between Greenberg and Rich Eisen can do it by himself and succeed. Mike Greenberg cannot.
okay,
Greenberg,
okay. I can see where that argument can be made. I can be. I can see where that can be the made.
Greenberg is the Ryan Seacrest of ESPN. He's been there so fucking long. You think he's good and you think you like him, even though you don't.
I don't know
because he's been force fed down your throats for 20 plus years. First on Mike and Mike, which was an entertaining show, but then it turned into everything about Greenberg. Mm-hmm. And we put him on everything. And it's just one of those things where there are probably people that go, you know what? I don't want to see Greenberg on draft coverage. I don't want to see Greenberg on the, college game day. Like, I mean, and McAfee, don't get me started on Pat McAfee. I'll just leave it there and go with what's on my mind. Which is not
this is exactly why I tried to keep it short.
Yeah, I understand. But you know what? It's what's on my mind is kind of similar to this. I've been kind of bothered for a while, and I don't know. Like, you ever do something that you don't know what you really did?
What do you mean?
Let's say somebody's holding something against you. Don't you want to know what that's something that's being held against you?
Yes. I think I told you about someone that we mutually know that I ran into. This was years ago at a radio convention, and I said hi to that person, and they just looked at me and walked away, and it was like, well, at least tell me what I did. Like, I hate that. Yeah.
So it's been over a year ago now. There is someone who reached out to me about several jobs, and there were several jobs that were up for grabs that I was actually interested in. And I had several conversations. I had email contact all the time, and we're trading back and forth. And then last year, they started talking to me about a job, and it was a job that, there was part of me that was interested in it, but I wasn't 100% all the way in for a couple of different reasons. And one of which was just, it felt like something I did before, except on a lesser scale. And but what was appealing was there was the opportunity to maybe do something here and there at the same time. And I broached that subject. And what happened was I went through several different things. I went for a visit to the market. I sat down on multiple Zoom calls and had good conversations with everybody and had some good ideas. But I also knew that what I would be doing if I took that job was essentially ice skating uphill. And I am at a stage in my, when I left Michigan, it was because my radio station was the 500-pound gorilla on top of the mountain watching everybody else underneath them. And I wanted the challenge of being able to build something. And now, like, I've got that out of my system. I don't want the challenge of being able to build something anymore. I want the challenge of being able to make something better, but I want something that has already had a level of establishment to itself, if that makes any kind of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that when they wouldn't agree, when they wanted someone to be 100% in that market, I'm cool with that. I respect that decision all 100%. And I get why you would want to. And if this were me 20 years ago, I probably would have just said, absolutely, let me pack up my stuff and let's go. And this time around, like, I didn't want to do something I've already done on less of a scale. So for a multitude of reasons, but that being one of them, I declined that job offer. I said, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I just don't feel like it's the right fit for me. And I don't want to pretend that it is and not do the best job that I can and not be 100% all into something, which I thought was a mature, smart, sensible, respectable way to decline a job offer. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Now, fast forward. Since then, there have been 3 other opportunities that have opened with the same company. And each one of them, I have thrown my hat in the ring for. Each one of them, I have received callbacks and interviews for. Each one of them, it gets to the point where I have to sit down on a call with whoever is doing the hiring and the guy that used to send me emails all the time and was throwing stuff my direction. It goes back to where I have to sit down and talk to him collectively with some other people. And that's where the process just drives itself into a brick wall and stops. And I feel like I am being punished because I did the respectable thing. And because it was no offense to the company and I appreciated them wanting to hire me, but I didn't feel like it was right for me. And I was honest about that. And now I feel like this is why I'm a better liar, because I've always lived my life by the fact that honesty is not the best policy. So here I am. I was honest. And now I feel like I'm being blackballed for the fact that I was honest about something not being the right fit for me.
Do you think that it's possible that you were blackballed not because of what you said, but more of what you did?
What do you mean what I did?
You didn't take the job. It may not be because of the fact that you were too honest. Do you think maybe it's a possibility because you didn't take that job that person was offended because they felt that they may have talked you up, they may have stuck their neck out a little further than or stuck their neck out maybe in their eyes a long way, and because you turned that down, that kind of, let's just be honest, even with, let's just say, big boy pants on, it hurt their feelings or at least their ego, and because of that you may be suffering consequences for that.
It's 100%. It's 100% possible. I don't know, but the funny thing is, the guy that the second choice, I guess you will, is now covering multiple areas.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like, okay, but it wasn't like, it just wasn't right for me at the time. I knew. Exactly,
I was just gonna say that.
I knew exactly what the competition was, and I also just, I felt like it was just not gonna. I didn't think I was going to be able to win. In fact, I didn't even think I was going to be able to really compete. And I can handle not winning. I've not won before. That doesn't necessarily bother me. But I want to be in the conversation and I want to compete. And as long as I can do that, I'm fine. Because radio is kind of a tricky thing. No matter how good you are, sometimes just the landscape is not set up for you to win by
I
by
can agree.
by design. But the landscape is always set up for you to be in the conversation, and I'm happy to be in the conversation in some places. Hell, the station we worked at in Dayton was in the conversation
I was just
on a
gonna say
regular
that.
basis.
I was just gonna say I didn't feel it wasn't until after I got here to Dayton that I felt like, okay, I don't really have a fighting chance. Like I've already kind of lost before I've even really got my footing. But at least I was in the conversation, and I was grateful to at least do that much. Um, but there are a lot of things I would have done differently, in
Oh, me
hindsight.
too.
But everybody says that. Everybody says
Absolutely.
that.
Oh, absolutely. I would have done a lot of stuff differently here, but I was never going to be able to. And
Mhm.
I wish that concept would have dropped on me a couple of years sooner.
Mm.
Like I really truly do. But I don't know. So it just bothers me that I'm like, and I've sent email. I even sent I sent a huge thank you email and an apology email and just explained why it wasn't right for me. And not that I didn't appreciate it. It's just, I even said I would love to work with you guys in some capacity. I just didn't feel like this is the right capacity for that. Like I thought
Yeah.
that was the nice.
But again, it even though your intentions may have been there, it may not have been perceived that way, or maybe it was perceived that way. But again, feelings, egos, and everything else can factor in, and it's one of those situations where if you took the high road and feel like you're being punished for it, then you know what? The problem wasn't with you.
Well, from now on, I'm not taking the high road anymore. That's all there is
No,
to it.
that's not
Yes, it is, Michael. Yes,
that's
it is,
not the way to
Michael.
handle that.
Honesty, honesty didn't work for
Steven.
me. You know what it is? Dishonesty, swindling.
Hey, when's the last time you've seen or heard of a stripper named Dishonesty? Just come on.
Just last week,
You're lying.
I would just like I like to lose on my merits. I mean, there are jobs that I've won.
I thought you said marriage.
No, 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 no,
I was like,
no.
wait, whoa, wait, what?
We thought about that once. Clearly, it didn't work out. Um,
Stop it. Jesus.
no, from a merit standpoint, though, like there have been jobs that I have won and gotten and earned. There are also been jobs where I didn't get, and then I looked at who they've hired and went, "Yeah, that dude's resume is way stronger than mine. I would have hired him too." Like, and
Oh yeah.
I can't get mad at that. Like, that's fine. You know what I mean? If all of a sudden you want to play quarterback and you think you throw the ball really well, and then all of a sudden Patrick Mahomes walks in, you're like, "Yep, understand why they're going with that guy." Like it's.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
You know what I mean? Like it's not.
No, I don't. Yeah, I totally get it. It's I've seen situations where I've seen both sides of that coin where you see somebody and you think you're hot shit, and then they step in and you go, holy crap, clearly they are far more. I remember the first time I thought I was the next up and comer on air. Like I thought I had a great presence. I thought I had a great delivery. And this kid stepped in, and I won't name him by name, only because he's no longer in the business. And he was a great kid, great personality. And I'll never forget. He walked into the studio because he did a shift after me, and this was before you were program director at IOG, and I remember thinking, wow, like talking to him, I'm thinking, wow, this kid seems really kind of in his shell. I don't know. And then he steps up to that mic and his delivery and just everything was just spot on, like he was born in that studio. And I was just blown away by his talent. I'm going, wow, clearly I have a lot of things to learn. And
So
he was a natural talent. And I think he did the job for maybe a year at best, and then went on and did something else and was very successful at what he decided to do. But I was just I was just blown away by just his natural talent. So in a nutshell, I know what that's like. But then again, I've seen other people where it's like, hey, how did you even make it through the door? Like what's happening here? How did this guy or this girl get this job, and what's going on here? So I don't know.
I
But
mean,
it's life. I think that's life.
yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. I mean, I have no problem admitting that someone is better than me, especially when it comes to radio. Like, I get it. But I will also
Hmm.
say there are a lot of people who have jobs that I know for a fact that I am light years ahead of from a talent standpoint
Hmm.
and everything else. They just were in the right place at the right time that I
Right
was
time.
at.
Yep. Exactly. That's kind of what I was getting at. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah.
So
There
anyway,
are those stories that happen though.
but that's just it. I mean, that's just not being able to like not knowing what you've done. I'm like, I want to know what turned. I just want to know, and I never will. And that's I guess this is just my way of venting and everything. But
Hmm.
I just find myself more and more jaded with the business. And I know I've said it before, like my radio job a year or so ago, like you, the fact that you lied to my fucking face just bothers me to no end. And now I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to be honest because I want to see it coming.
Mm.
I don't want to, if it's not something I want to put all my heart and soul into, then I want to let you know that this isn't right for me. So I don't, for both of our sakes. So you don't think you're getting something you're not, and I don't put something into it that, leaves me broken or bent at the end. So I don't know. I just want to know what I would just like to know what the hell
I think you kind of know what you did. It's just, I think
said no.
yes, I think it, and I could be wrong. I maybe just, but from what you're telling me, it sounds like it doesn't matter. It doesn't sound like to me it would have mattered what you would have said. I think the outcome would have been the same as long as your answer would have been no.
What is on your mind this fine evening?
There are a lot of things that have been going on in my life that I, have chosen not to disclose in the podcast, and you kind of know, what's going on in my life, and to the point where it has drastically affected my health, my well-being, my thinking. It's changed me probably for the rest of my life.
Michelle,
um
listen,
I told you,
these
I
kind of
told you if
changes aren't natural and they
I
just take
I
time to get used to.
I told you if I was making those changes, it would not be Michelle. I'm going all the way with Tyler.
Okay. Fine.
No, not no. I just it was really nice to just have a break away from everything that was going on. Even my dad. Like I saw my dad over the weekend, and I'm starting to, you get to that point where you see, there's the version of your parents that you have in your head as you're growing up and you go throughout life, and then there's the version of your parents as they are getting towards the end of life, and you know it's heartbreaking to see um as your loved ones are aging. It's just it's heartbreaking. And I love my dad dearly. I don't get to talk to him and hang out with him as much as I would love to, but it doesn't mean that I don't love him, any less. And I had a wonderful time spending time with my dad. Um, and I wish I can get more time like that. But what was weirdly on my mind is I had a wonderful opportunity with friends to just step out and just have a good time and escape everything that's been going on in my life and in my head. And I literally, for just a couple of hours, forgot about everything going on in my life and just had a great time, much like you were talking about just a couple of weeks ago. And you know, as you were talking about that, I didn't expect to have that same kind of experience within a matter of weeks. And so it was really beautiful and refreshing to also experience just completely forgetting about everything else going on and just having a really good time watching some baseball. Watch the Tigers unfortunately lose, but it's that's baseball, but
Right.
still had an awesome time. Learned a little bit about some Tigers history, which was kind of a cool experience, and just had a really good time. It was just a genuinely good time that really went in a blink of an eye, just because, as they say, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, it went by fast. Um, no, it was. I mean, it was. I like those days where you can just like. And again, I know what you're saying. It was the second time for me in a couple of weeks where like everything else in the world just wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just laughing and joking around and watching
I
baseball.
and I cannot thank Jason, our good friend Jason, a million times over. So I told Jason about this like list that I had posted on social media last year. And my checklist was to go to a Tigers game, have an adult beverage, and get a picture with Paws. And those who don't know, Paws is the Tigers mascot, and I don't know what it is. Whoever is Paws is like they are mascots always have their bits, but Paws is an intellectual type of mascot, and I mean that because like all throughout the season last year, especially, he always had hidden messages in his bits. Where if you reference and what he was talking about, there was like a bigger story, and it was like, holy crap, there's like he's really saying more than what he's really saying. And I always thought that was a kind of cool angle to his shtick. Now I don't know if maybe this is the same pause as last year because people move on and do other jobs just as much, in the mascot world as they do as professional athletes. Because I don't see this same kind of shtick quite as much this year. But Paws is still one of my favorite mascots. I say all that to say this. Jason spent the better half of maybe two and a half, maybe 3 innings helping me track down Paws so that I could get a picture. And instead of sitting enjoying the game like, a normal adult at a baseball game would, he helped me try and track Paws down. And, we weren't able to quite corner him, but it was a good time even just doing that. It was just fun. It was genuinely fun.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was just a good like forget about life for a while. It's been a long time since I've been to a baseball game in Comerica Park in Detroit, so that was fun. and just, I mean, good group of people, and it was just a good, the sun was out, it was a little warm, but other than that, it was you know, it's a
It
fun
was
day.
warm. It was warm, but I mean, like it's I guess what you would expect, on a July day in mid Michigan, or yeah, well, I guess South Michigan rather.
Well, and I'm starting to think, and my mom said this. I was talking to my mom earlier today, which reminds me, I got to call her back, because I had a call I had to take that came in. So I'm like, I'll call you back, and then I forgot to call her back, so I will do that. But she just said something that, everything is so crazy, and she's not wrong. Like, everything in the world is crazy, and I think it's not going to get any better for a while. So it's
Right.
almost like you have to force your way out of the craziness for a while, and
Right.
by doing things that kind of make you forget about everything that's, you know going on in the world and or your life that you don't want to deal with. And I mean, again, it was just one of those days where, you know what, need a break from reality, so I'm going to swipe the card and just not care. And that's basically what it was. Like, it was just, all right, here we go, here we go, here we go. you
Which
know
stinks because, nothing in this economy is cheap. And what you like you probably
oh,
put
I
it
know. I'll
you
show
put
you
it
my
well.
statement.
Oh Jesus. You
No,
put
just,
it
I
well
mean,
though.
by the
It
way,
like you have to force yourself kind of past the crazy and
no,
and
and you
and
know what, this weekend was a good reminder. We talked about it before, how, you know there are people that are being priced out of being able to do things. And
right.
I noticed this weekend, just buying rounds at, of normal, like, and I'm not talking about like tons of alcohol. I'm talking about just, hey, here's a water, or here's a, whatever. Like, it's like 30 plus a round. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you do
Well, 30
three.
plus, it's 30 plus per like like you're it's a little more than that. Like you're almost like I the beer that I drank was $15, which was
Okay.
about it was at Comerica Park, which is about the same thing at Great American. So you figure per person, you're spending almost $100 for buying a group of friends a round of drinks at the ballpark, and that's ridiculous.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
ridiculous.
I took, I mean, I bought a chicken shawarma for while we were at the ballpark, because that was like my breakfast slash lunch. That was $12 for just a sandwich, which at first I thought isn't really that bad. But then when you add in, oh, I'm gonna get a drink with that. Oh, I'm gonna get everything else with that.
Yeah, it's that's crazy. That's just crazy. They like I understand inflation and the economy and everything, but we've got to get a better handle on like there's got to be a way that at least our entertainment of all things should at least be a little cheaper.
Not gonna happen, but
Not going to happen,
it's a
but
nice nice
it would
idea.
you think you would listen. I get it, but gosh, if there was a way, especially if you're going to a concert, or well that's for another discussion. But
Absolutely.
concerts are definitely
No, but if you take anything from this, find something that can help you forget about life for a while. You don't have to spend
yes.
Major League Baseball prices to do it. But I mean, you know, go camping for a weekend. Go,
Hmm.
just do something that you can, put the rest of the world on pause and just be with who you are, who you're with, and, you know, have some fun for a
Find
while.
a trail. Find a trail. Go hike. Not many of them in to our in our Michigan. Yeah, there are in Michigan. Of course there are. But just get out, do something.
Yeah.
In find something that you like and attach onto the moment, live in the moment, and forget about the worries of whatever else is going on, is big or small as your troubles might be.
And feel free to Venmo me like 20 or $30 for the idea. It's cool.
You know, we need to set up a fun
Venmo?
for us. Yeah, you know, for us to, you know, have a good time.
Dude, if somebody ever knocked on my door, if somebody knocked on my door with a big jar and said money for the needy, I'd take the jar and be like, thanks.
Thank you. Close the door. Isn't that from a movie?
I'd probably.
I feel like that was probably in a movie somewhere, but yeah, that's that.
This is great.
That's awful.
I willed it into existence. So, anyway.
Thank you, God.
See, he does listen.
Oh my God. And I could just and just in my mind I can just see that very moment replaying on the big screen as I'm awaiting to either go to heaven or hell.
Exactly. Remember when you
And
took
this is the
money from
reason
needy?
why. This is the exact reason why.
Just the night before, I laid in my bed and I said, Lord, it would be great if you would just send someone to my door with money. All of a sudden, there was a little old lady with a big jar.
There he is, officer. That's the guy right there.
You don't understand. Jesus meant for you to bring
I
this to me.
prayed for this money. Yeah, that's right. Okay. I'm sure it is. You have the right to remain silent. No, but I prayed for this.
Exactly. On that note, that's what's on
Oh
my
my
mind
God.
and his mind. Have a great rest of your week. And again, that Venmo thing, I was only being serious about.
I'm totally serious about that. And I'm going to hell, and I'm starting to become okay with that.
I told you. My version of hell is just going to be an irritating sunburn because there are far worse people out there that are going to be spit roasted and everything else. I'm just going to have an irritating sunburn for the rest of my life. And I'll figure out how to adapt.
And I'm going to be that guy that's full on engulfed just because I know you.
No, you know what it is? It'll be, I'll have the irritating sunburn, but I'll have a view of the people upstairs that I know that are just having a great old time. And I'll just be like,
at the barbecue that they occasionally burn their hands on.
or like every time I'll go to watch a program down there, it'll switch to a live feed of someone who I think is a complete asshole, but somehow they found their way up there.
It's all the sports you want, but everything is commentated by Joe Buck.
Ooh. Ooh.